Well, if the Islam Makhachev fan base didn't already hate me, they're about to hate me after this video, but also not really. I'm not going to be slagging Islam Makhachev off. He won his fight fair and square. However, I liked what Ariel Helwani said. He won the contest but lost the fight, and that's very true. And he's not as good as Khabib. Anyway, Islam Makhachev has been accused of cheating by using an IV drip to help rehydrate after the weigh-ins, which obviously is putting fluids straight into your bloodstream and would significantly help rehydration and obviously speed it up, make you feel better, also make you stronger, bigger, more hydrated, get the sodium back in your body. And this has been a big thing. Now, the only reason I make a video on it is because of how big it's blown up, and obviously it's blown up massively because the decision was already kind of controversial, two-way split between who people think won. And I think obviously the only reason it was a massive two-way split is because Volkanovski physically won the fight, did more damage, but Makhachev won on points. Like the wet blanket type style fighting. You know how it is, guys. But I do make a video because this is a very unusual accusation. And the tweets that Dan Hooker has been putting out saying, you know, cheating scum, he used an IV drip, if he doesn't cheat, he doesn't win. That is very, very blatantly just, we have proof, we know you hired a nurse and cheated. I want to see it. I want to see the proof. I want to see the nurse on an interview. I want to see the USADA get involved and start a full investigation. However, if these claims that Dan Hooker's putting out and, you know, Volkanovski's alluding to, but not wanting to be that guy who's emotionally upset with losing and then accuses him of using an IV and all this and that. Islam Makhachev's manager is Ali Abdelaziz, who we already know is a rat scumbag. He could genuinely sue Dan Hooker for defamation of character for so much money. Especially because of how high the stakes were when it comes to this fight. Double champ, pound for pound number one. Also the fact Dan Hooker's a training partner of Volkanovski and a very good friend of his. Has a lot of leverage for Ali Abdelaziz to have a little sue battle with Dan Hooker, have a little law battle with Dan Hooker, defamation of character. He has plenty of reason to. He's friends with Volkanovski. But there's also been images that have surfaced. Now, one of these images, someone was saying, oh, you know, that was taken like before the weigh-ins. We don't know when any of these images were taken, right? But I've seen stuff online that there was this guy on Twitter that has proven one of the images was taken after the weigh-ins, and it was a picture of Alexander Volkanovski and Islam Makhachev at the ceremonial weigh-in. Volkanovski had his arms up, and the shadow was shadowing over Islam. There was no light shining on it. It wasn't a trick of the light, and you could see the mark that everybody's speaking about on his left arm, on his vein, right at the bend of his arm, which is obviously where an IV gets inserted for maximum effect. And a rehydration IV specifically goes in that part of the arm because it's the main artery that runs up your arm straight to your heart. That is it's pretty weird how there's only that mark on him and not anywhere else on his body. Maybe he had an IV in him at some stage. You know, Russians are known for cheating, and maybe, you know, he said, look, we'll give you 15,000 to this nurse. Keep your mouth shut. Rehydrate me. Let me be as strong as possible tomorrow night. And this is what I want to say. This is, I think, that people are ignoring this. The fact Khabib wasn't in his corner, I think, has done so much for this man in terms of negatively affecting him. No Khabib in your corner. Khabib would fucking most likely be like, no, brother, you win this properly. The pressure on this man's shoulders to be as good as Khabib, this and that. Not having Khabib there to say absolutely not. Also, the fucking weight cut Makhachev done. This really bugged me, right? Now, this really angered me, and I mentioned this in a video previously. On the laser light video. Islam Makhachev was stood on the scale. 155, slides it over quickly. And on the And Michael Bisping responded to a comment on YouTube saying, we got word that Islam was really struggling, how they do the weigh-in show and stuff. They got word that Islam in the earpiece was struggling. That's why Bisping was making certain comments about certain situations. And as soon as Makhachev stepped on the scale, let it hit 155, the scale hadn't stopped wobbling, doing 155, and Makhachev starts crying. He's like, oh my God, I can't believe I've maybe gotten away with it. I can't believe I've done it. You could see how emotional he was and how physically he wasn't there. And you know how tough Khabib obviously struggled with the weight cut, and obviously Islam Makhachev also is a massive, massive man. And obviously when it comes to growing up wrestling as well, your muscles get accustomed to needing oxygen and needing water and needing to be hydrated. And I feel like that's all. Obviously, that doesn't really play a factor. That's just one of those things that I'm kind of envisioning, that your muscles swelling after wrestling and any workout to the point where you need water. Also, they're getting older, 31, 32 years old. Like, they're older guys in terms of, like, obviously fighting at the same weight class their whole life. And, Islam Makhachev has come out and he said, look, I'll fight a welterweight, because obviously how much he struggles with the 155 weight cut. Khabib never went to welterweight because, he kind of just was in the mindset of want to defend 155, want to be the greatest 155 ever, which he's not. Like, genuinely, he can't be. Like, doesn't. I'm not going to get into that. Dagestani fans already hate me. Now, I want to see proof. I'm backing both sides. Islam won. And if you're going to throw accusations out there, we need proof. You need to show us proof. And USADA, start an investigation. Find this nurse. Get Dan Hooker and Volkanovski. And even in the interview that Volkanovski had with Ariel Helwani, he was kind of looking over, like, should I say this? Can I say this? As if they were maybe going to push for a little maybe investigation, something like this. It's very hard to prove, though, especially now after that maybe point in his arms healed. It's very difficult to prove, and I'd be very surprised if anything came of this. I'm making a video on it mainly just to speak about it and kind of give my thoughts on it. However, it's very hard to prove, very hard for anything to come of this without stone cold evidence. Hard evidence. Yeah, I do worry for the reputation of Makhachev, especially after this fight. The Dagestani fans are loyal, but they're also the most annoying, fucking irritating fans in the world. It's like a humble brother. Mate, you're not humble. For Islam as well to come out and say Volkanovski won 1 minute of that whole fight, the final minute. Mate, he ended on top of you, pounding your face after dropping you to the ground, doing significantly more damage than you did to him throughout the entire fight. You lost the fight, but maybe won the contest, whatever. Anyway, please share your thoughts on this. I'd really love to hear what everybody's saying about this. But yeah, thanks so much. I appreciate it. Subscribe, like, comment. I've got training in half an hour. I've got to go. See you later, brother. Thank you so much.